Well, the general election we all wanted has created the fracture that none of us wanted. We are now looking at a split vote for Brexit supporters. So we have the Brexit Party saying to Boris Johnson, drop your deal, go WTO, and we'll stand down. Boris Johnson cannot do that, and Nigel Farage must know that. Nigel Farage saying that Boris Johnson's withdrawal agreement isn't Brexit is wrong. And I'm sorry, he's doing this for political reasons. That's only my opinion. But I'll just remind you what the withdrawal agreement has. It has citizens' rights, the divorce payment, definition of the borders, definition of dispute resolution, and a political declaration for the future trading arrangement. So just look at those. Divorce payment, 39 billion. Well, I know it sounds a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but our GDP is so high. Actually, when you span it out over 10 years, it's not that bad. And also, we're already paying some of it. So by the time the transition period comes, it actually will be a lower final number. Citizens' rights, it's not just EU nationals living in the UK that we have to think about. There were 1.5 million UK nationals living in the EU. Some of them are retired, some of them are workers. They still need healthcare rights. They still need reciprocity with the EU nationals that are living in Britain. Any free trade deal, even on Nigel Farage's WTO exit, would still have those rights guaranteed. That's really important. Borders, well, that's all about the Irish backstop. That's been resolved. Dispute resolution, well, come on, when did any of us ever worry what the ECJ was deciding from one day to the next? Every trade agreement needs a dispute resolution framework, it needs an arbitration framework, and that will come in the next bit. The political declaration actually, in many ways, was one of Boris Johnson's finest achievements because he did blow it wide open. So things like fishing, for example, are within that. So he can now negotiate really hard for us with Steve Baker on the fishing rights, and they know how important they are. So when Nigel Farage says this isn't Brexit, actually this is the only Brexit we're going to get. Like it or not, we are never going to have a WTO Brexit. And like it or not, Nigel Farage is never going to lead this country. He will never ever be in the party of government. It's as fanciful as the Lib Dems being in government. They are both polling at the same level. They are kingmakers. Yes, I've always said Boris should stand aside in those constituencies where he stands no chance. I actually may be wrong on that, because if you look at the electoral calculus numbers, and if you do the calculation I said the other day about UKIP voters, well, a lot of people are saying that those UKIP voters are Labour voters who will now be Conservative voters. Because don't forget, those 5 million Labour voters have nobody to represent them. In my opinion, Nigel Farage is right. They will never vote Tory, but they will vote the Brexit Party. I agree with that. I may be wrong. However, it's really important to stay focused on this. Do remember that the withdrawal agreement is the end of the beginning. It is not the final end state. It is a treaty, but we were always going to sign up to a treaty anyway. That bit of rhetoric is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Honestly, I don't think the outcome for any of us as citizens is any different with this withdrawal agreement, and we will be out. We will be negotiating our own free trade agreements, which is what we all wanted. We will also be out of the rigours of the Lisbon Treaty. The ECJ will not have jurisdiction on criminal matters, social matters and family matters, which the Lisbon Treaty made provision for, along with all the other ever closer union. We're out of that. This withdrawal agreement takes us out whilst protecting those 5 discrete issues that I've told you about.